welcome to Gear There and Everywhere. I am Sam, and I am joined by my friends Ryan and Dom. Today we are discussing all the guitars that George Harrison used in 1963. You may think that it was just a Gretsch Duo Jet and a Country Gentleman, but we have some real surprises here tonight. So welcome Ryan and Dom.
Well, all right. Which one we want to start with?
Well,
I mean, just to get it out of the way, maybe we just mention the J-160, just since you didn't mention it just now, even though that's obviously a very common one.
Right, so the guitars that George already had by 63 were the Duo Jet he got in 61. And what year did he get the J-160?
That's in, is it like June or something?
62?
It's somewhere around middle of 62. And I learned today that apparently John and George's had gotten swapped from the very beginning. So, the ones that they had the serial number, tied to at the store when they bought it, they accidentally switched them at some point. And so when John's got stolen, it was actually George's that got stolen by the official record. And so the one that George then continued to use for a while, which was borrowed by John, was actually already John's. And then I guess John ends up keeping it. Is that right? Because that's the one that gets painted with the psychedelic colors and then
that was
later.
That was a 64.
Oh, that's right. That's the one he
got a replacement.
That's the one. That one got bought around Beatles for sale.
Yeah.
And then they start using it again. That's right. Never mind.
Right.
So
that one got
just
painted
keeps
the full
one, and then he uses that up until he gets the J200 or whatever.
So we know that he had the Duo Jet and the J160, which is an acoustic electric. And then we just were talking and realized that in January 63, he was playing an interesting Gretsch that was not a Duo Jet or a Country Gentleman for the Helen Shapiro tour.
What guitar would that be, Sam?
Well, Dom, it's called a Gretsch Firebird in a red finish.
And it's basically like
Solid
a Duo
body
Jet,
guitar,
but with Filtertrons. Right.
And a mud switch.
Oh, it does. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, mud switch.
Did anyone else play a Firebird that we know of?
Malcolm Young.
Oh, okay.
Right? Or is that
but
Jet?
his was.
I thought he had a double cutaway.
Yeah,
something.
There was a
Maybe
double
that
cutaway
might be a double
jet,
cutaway
wasn't it?
Firebird, technically.
What would it be?
Or I think it was a Jet, but I
Let's
don't know
find
if that's
out.
the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess the pickups is the only difference, and maybe this mud switch thing that you're talking
Malcolm's had 3 pickups, and he took them out, except for the bridge one.
It is a Firebird.
I know there's also a video from 64 or not 64, 65. I think it's an episode of Hullabaloo or something like that, or maybe Shindig. I think it's Hullabaloo, where the Kinks are playing Tired of Waiting, and Dave Davies has a Gretsch double cutaway, which I think is either a Firebird or a double cutaway Sparkle Jet or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
So either way, George didn't really have this guitar for very long.
Yeah.
Probably on just one tour.
Real quick.
Yeah, Ryan,
couple
show
months.
us some pictures. But his main guitar was still the Duo Jet, of course, which he used on Please Please Me. And that's
Correct.
it, right?
Yeah, and the Decca auditions, but that wasn't an official release.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
We also know that Danny still has this one.
The Duo Jet, yeah.
Yes.
Klaus Voormann had it for a while.
He uses it regularly, too.
Danny does with his band.
As far as I know.
Okay, so this is Helen Shapiro, if you don't know.
Yes.
So the Beatles were on tour with her. I guess this started, it started in February. I don't know if it was, probably around the beginning of February. And the photos you usually see of George with the Firebird are from this day, January, I guess, 27th, 63. And so if you go through these, you can see it in the background there, and there's a nice closer photo of it where you can tell it's not black. It doesn't have the Bigsby. And it does have the mud switch.
You can see the pickups. Yeah,
and it's got the Filtertron pickups.
Yes.
So
is that at the Cavern?
Yes, this is at the Cavern. Oh, goodness. There we go.
It's a good quality photo, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There it is, and he's through the AC30.
Are there any other differences that we know of between the Firebird and the Jet?
Oh, I also don't know when they got... This is a black AC30. When did they
Is it?
get this? Isn't it?
Yeah.
When did they switch away? Oh, those were AC15s that they had before, right?
John had a Fawn, the white one, AC15 twin that he did use on Please Please Me. Was George's AC30 on Please Please Me Fawn as well? A white?
I don't know.
It might have been.
Let's see if we can see John's in this photo.
Can't recall.
But
there's John's
here,
right there.
Or are these just ones that... Is that John?
That looks like the Fawn AC15, I think.
Oh, it's just hard to tell in these photos, I guess. But yeah, so that's the Firebird. Very likely, well, actually, it's like basically impossible for it to have been on any Beatles recording, except maybe a live recording from these periods. Maybe is there any like BBC recordings from this time? There could have been. I really have no idea.
Yeah, January '63, I think. Yeah, but I doubt he used.
But he didn't have this for very long. We did find. I couldn't find like a digital copy of this photo, but I'll just show it on my stream here.
Well, what about that that demo of Misery?
I've never heard that.
I don't know about that. I guess that would have been on that tour though, because they were writing it for Helen Shapiro, right?
No, dude, did you not? Hold on, I'll send it to you. Hold on.
But while he's doing that, this photo here, where am I going? This guy. That's George with the Firebird, and it says in the caption, "This is on the Helen Shapiro tour, backstage."
Nice.
So that's kind of a cool little tidbit about it.
Check the Instagram chat.
Okay.
So this demo, to get a context, obviously it was written for Helen Shapiro, right? So, the lyrics were different, totally different.
Wow.
Okay.
I never heard a demo.
And it just surfaced. Yeah, it just surfaced.
Oh, when was that it surfaced?
A couple weeks ago.
What?
What?
Yeah.
Was this one of those things that came from Jeff Emmerich's house or something like that? No, it wouldn't have been there.
Stream it.
So now I've just pulled up this demo that Dom was talking about. January
Get ready for your
63
minds
Cavern demo,
to be blown.
which apparently just surfaced recently, and everyone says wow.
Every comment says wow.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
That's
What were
so
the
they're
lyrics?
saying I'm the kind of girl.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's so that's January of '63.
That's the same month that the Firebird pictures were from.
So I'm hearing a very briefly J-160 underneath that, but the electric guitar you're hearing is the Firebird. I can guarantee it.
All right, let me stop
So
sharing.
as far as I know, that's the only recording of the Firebird.
They
that's
did
out there.
record BBC
So you think
shows.
that- What day is that recording from? Do we know?
Sometime in January.
You think that might be the Firebird on that?
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
it could be, because he had it on the tour, but he also did he have the Duojet on the tour as well? I think he did.
Probably.
So it could have been either.
No. Yeah.
I just looked up BBC recording. They did some recordings in January '63.
So-
Keep Your Hands Off My Baby and stuff like that.
Oh, that's a good one. Interesting. So yeah, so I guess it's possible it's on a recording, but I don't know if we could prove it though.
Little tidbit on Keep Your Hands Off My Baby. The recording that we hear was actually recorded off a car radio.
Oh, really?
And they added drums and bass in the 80s.
That's interesting.
That's weird because some of the other recordings that were a little worse quality, like Dream Baby and Picture of You, also sound
right?
awful, right?
Yeah.
Is Picture of You, is that on BBC too?
No, they never
Is that
released
set
it.
from Star Club?
No, it's BBC.
Oh, okay.
It was just BBC, but they never released it. or Dream Baby, and they're not very good quality.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if it was a car
Dream Baby
redo,
is
too.
like one of the earliest of those types of recordings, right? It's like what, early 62 or something?
I'm not
Something
sure.
like that. Yeah, I couldn't say.
And what month was Please Please Me recorded? In March 63?
So the album is all
I'm not
February
sure.
11th, and it came out in March.
Okay.
But we know for sure the Duo Jet was used on that album.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Firebird's
absolutely
gone
is,
by
yeah.
then.
Yeah.
We don't have pictures of the sessions. We only have
Please Me
pictures
sessions. Yeah.
of the Love Me Do, which is back in September. I can't remember if those photos.
Really? There's no pictures of
February
Please
11th
Please
doesn't
Me
have
stuff?
pictures. No.
Oh wow.
The pictures that you might be thinking of is March 5th, I think, which is From Me to You and Thank You Girl.
So John's Rick was still natural at that point, right? Are those the photos I'm thinking of?
No.
Him in the black tie?
Yeah, in March.
Is it?
It should be.
I'm not sure.
When did
Maybe
it get
I'm
painted? Oh yeah. All right, yeah,
maybe
you're
I'm
right.
losing my mind here.
I guess it would have been. I think it got. Let's see.
Here's Dream Baby.
Hmm.
Wow. I've never heard this
No,
before.
I think his guitar was already black at this point.
Okay.
I can't confirm it, but I know there's. Yeah, there's a. I just know in the Beatles gear, they're showing photos from around the time of the Firebird, and his Rickenbacker's already black in January.
Okay.
I think
So-
that's right.
so it was already
I just
black
don't know
by
when
that
that
point.
happened.
Okay.
So we should probably segue then from Please Please Me. They go on tour in England. They're a big success, not in the States yet. But then when does George get his country gent?
That's around May. And I found something earlier in Beatles gear that mentions that there was listings in, what is it, Merseybeat or some magazine. There was listings of what guitars were at this shop. And this is, I can't remember which guy this is. It might be the, who was the guy we were talking about last time that probably painted John's Strat? Arbiter?
No.
Dallas Arbiter.
Yeah.
Ivor Arbiter? Is it the same?
Ivor Arbiter.
Yeah.
That's his name. Yeah.
I can't remember if it was his shop maybe where he got the country gent, and it said something about how there was a listing in the magazine for the country gent like a few weeks, like up through like April or something like that, and then in the middle of May those ads stopped being there because that's when George got it. So that's kind of interesting.
So it was probably May. May of
says-
Yeah, I
63.
think it's May. I believe I know the first session photos where this guitar shows up, and I think it's this BBC recording here.
Okay, so that the first appearance of the gent.
Yeah, I think this is
Okay.
the first appearance of the gent.
So this is the one where it had the dial-ups, right?
The mutes.
The
Yeah.
mutes. Yeah. This has the mutes, which you can see. Right
But
there.
the difference between his
second one-
first, second
Second
one
one
had the
doesn't have
flip ups.
One.
No, his second one does. They're flip
It
ups.
had
But
one mute. The second one.
no, they did too.
Are you sure?
Did it?
Yeah.
I think
I don't think it does.
there's
second
a
one-
picture of him with both of his gents.
Yeah.
You pull
Yeah,
that
it's
up.
probably just the weird angle, but I can guarantee you it had two.
This one only has one. It's a
Well, it's a later one, isn't it?
This
67?
is a 67. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there was a difference in the fake F-hole binding too. One of them had like white surrounding, and the other had just black, like this.
I'm just trying to
The
see if I can-
Beatles Canteen says in May, Harrison upgraded to this more deluxe Gretsch he found at Sound City, London, and after removing the mutes, he used it extensively.
What?
Yeah,
So he
took-
took the
He
mutes
removed
out.
the mutes?
What?
I found this photo.
Is that true?
Yeah, I know a photo
There we
of it.
go.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
one of them doesn't have mutes, definitely, but maybe he removed them. That's just something that there's a lot of people that have a lot more knowledge than us.
The one he's playing on Ed Sullivan is the second one with the flip up mutes.
Maybe the first one had mutes. He took them off and got the second one and like left them on.
Yeah, because he didn't take out the dials, right? He probably took out the felt padding.
That would make more sense.
Yeah.
Yes, it says the second one was flip up rather than dial up.
Yeah.
Harrison came to prefer it. He used the second one on Ed Sullivan.
Oh, I actually don't. So I have. Oh, it's far away. I was trying to figure out how do we show what these look like to someone who doesn't.
Well, I
know.
have a.
But yours doesn't have.
This is
what
the
does yours
flip
have
up,
on it?
right? So here's the normal sound, and then here's the flip up mute.
What that's doing is there's a piece of foam right next to the bridge between the bridge and the first the bridge pickup.
Yeah, here if the speaker comes to me now, you can see there's a little foam thing there.
So why are you calling them roll? What was it? Roll ups or something?
There's something called flip up and dial up. I think flip up is what mine has. Where here I can show you. If it goes to me, so this here is the flip up. So you just do that. I think the dial up you had to do this with the knob.
Huh. So I thought that the only difference was that the ones with the double mutes, I guess it doesn't make a difference. The reason that George's has the two mutes is because it was split across 3 different strings. So the first one did the first 3 strings, and the second one did the second 3 strings.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I guess I didn't know anything about this dial-up thing. I've never seen that because they don't make them like that anymore. So
No, they don't.
Interesting.
It's interesting that when I did this, it made it much sharper in pitch.
Oh.
You have to really tune it after that.
Yeah.
I don't think George ever used it though, right?
Yeah,
no, probably not.
I don't know if anyone ever used it.
He probably does. It's garbage. It's horrible.
Because at that
Horrible
point, just
invention.
use like, well, I don't know. I guess it sort of depends on what kind of sound that is. The closest thing I can think to that is like the demo I sent you guys, the Herman's Hermits, Mrs. Brown.
Mrs. Brown, you've got
That's
a
something
lovely
similar.
daughter.
But yeah, besides that, I can't think of it.
So that's the gents. Well,
Yeah,
gent
so
at that point.
the next guitar that shows up, which is because George takes his first gent to get something repaired. I don't know if we know what was getting repaired. I saw something maybe about the tuning pegs. I don't know.
Could have been.
And so he goes to a shop and he sees, I think he went in with Neil Aspinall, and he sees this Maton Master Sound there and says, oh, we'll take this one like as a backup for now. And so he had that for, it sounds like he got it in, what was it, July 3rd was when he got it. And that was also, he got the Gretsch back very quickly. So he had the Gretsch back by the time he had that thing as well. Because he got the Gretsch back on the same day. And
it's worth noting that they didn't record anything in those dates, right? Or did they have any
so
BBC
this is the
sessions?
tricky thing. I couldn't actually tell. Give me one sec.
There were some August recordings of BBC, like August 6th, Pop Goes the Beatles, I'm Gonna Sit Right Down and Cry Over You, Crying, Waiting, Hoping.
So let me read
Hours to
through.
Lover.
It says he got it. Hyam returned the repaired gent to Harrison the same evening, probably to the Playhouse Theatre in Manchester on July 3rd. And so She Loves You was recorded, and I'll Get You was on July 1st.
Mm-hmm.
And we have photos of that, so we know it's the gent. And agreed when Harrison asked to hang on to the Maton for a while. Photographic evidence indicates that Harrison used the Maton during later shows, at least at Margate, July 8th through 13, Liverpool, August 2nd, Blackpool, August 4th, and the Channel Islands, August 6th through 10, and at a photo call at the Cavern on August 3rd. Mm-hmm. And it says that it eventually made its way back to the store, most likely when the group visited a Manchester TV studio on August 14th. And so a lot of the next couple of sessions for Beatles, with the Beatles, The ones we have photos of are in September. And so, obviously, it's not in those because it's already back. But there is one session that's in the end of July. So that leaves a few things open for questioning, I guess.
And it seems like BBC, the Honeymoon song was recorded on August 6th.
Okay.
There was the July 30th, Memphis, Tennessee. So I don't know if the Maton.
No.
Do we know if it's pronounced Maton or Matan?
I have no
Maton.
idea.
I think it's Maton.
Okay.
Well, with the July 30th, what was it? No. The
Memphis,
Honeymoon
Tennessee.
song?
Let me see here. July 30th, Memphis, Tennessee. There was another one as well. July 23rd, A Taste of Honey.
Okay.
To Know Her Is to Love Her, August 6th.
I was going to say the Honeymoon song is absolutely a gent.
July 16th, Clarabella. There's a lot of BBC recordings in those 2
July.
months.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can tell you guys what
Okay.
stuff was done in July, if you want to hear it.
Yeah.
So it's specifically July 18th, 63, and they did You've Really Got a Hold on Me, Money, Devil in Her Heart, and Till There Was You. Did they finish that in 3 takes? Oh, there's 2 different dates. I didn't realize that. Okay, so there's that one, and then there's also July 30th, which is Please Mr. Postman, It Won't Be Long, some more edit pieces for that other stuff, and they finished Till There Was You, Roll Over Beethoven, and they finished It Won't Be Long, and All My Lovin'. We're all done. They were really busy those days, which is pretty impressive because those weren't all covers.
Yeah.
So I don't think anyone realistically thinks the Maton is on any of these recordings, but I guess theoretically it is possible because he would have had it with him, and it's a shame that there's no photos from those days.
Well, there is, at least we can know what it sounded like with that video that was put up for the
You want me
auction.
to play that real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they can see what.
Because I didn't
it
even
looks
watch
like
it yet,
too.
so I don't actually know what it sounds like.
It's just this guy playing a pentatonic lick over and over again, but you can still hear it. And it's George's actual one.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
this is actually George's?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Oh,
That's
I didn't
actually
realize
George's, yeah. This was for the auction. There it is.
So we've also got some sunglasses, some Ray-Ban sunglasses that did belong to George Harrison from sort of the later 60s period, and there's various provenance with the glasses, a picture of him wearing them, and a proof design artwork also with him wearing the glasses.
They're really going at it.
So the next auction's taking place high-flying early 50s and 60s Fenders and from the high-flying early 50s and 60s Fenders and Gibson.
Hold it. Before we click off of this, there's a shot of the back. And the back is Tobacco Burst.
Oh, where was that?
Scroll through it. It's near the beginning. I forgot to add that.
Is it this? Yeah. There we go.
Ooh, that's cool.
That's really pretty,
Yeah,
too.
that's pretty
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, nice flame.
Probably doesn't look too different from like those Hofner Club 40s or something like that.
Yeah.
So while we're here, I haven't been able to substantiate this, but I keep seeing this type of thing. I actually hadn't seen this video, so it's funny to see this here because I've read it elsewhere. So some people are claiming that this was once owned by Tony Hicks of the Hollies, and I haven't been able to substantiate this at all. So I do know that Tony got his... I hadn't seen anyone say that he traded it for his ES-345, which would be really interesting if that's the case. But I haven't found any evidence for that yet.
Well, there's no photographic evidence of Tony playing it.
I do have photos of Tony in like November of 63 when it seems like his 345 was pretty new. So, yeah. So that doesn't really seem like the timeline really works, because before that, unless Tony was already had both guitars, which I don't think he did.
Yeah.
He seemed to be using a Jazzmaster for most of 63. But there is one photo. I guess I might as well pull it up because I have it up, actually. There's this one photo from sometime in 62. Can you guys see this photo?
Yes.
So I can't tell if this is a 335 that he's got.
Ooh.
No, that doesn't.
Maybe it's
to
just
me
the
look like a
angle
real
that's...
Gibson.
You think it's something else?
No, it could just be the angle that's weird. Now it's got the 2-hole truss rod cover, the bell truss rod cover. Yeah, that's a Gibson.
That's a 3335.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but the weird thing is, like, I don't know what happened to this one, because it shows up in a handful of photos, and Graham has this weird harmony guitar.
Hear me out with this. I think he may have painted it.
Painted what?
The 335.
When?
Here, hold on.
Are you talking about the black one?
Yeah.
Well, no, but that's a 345.
Is it?
Yeah, that's so. Like, there's only like 2 photos of this 335. Usually he's got the 345, which, let me find a photo of that. Yeah. Oh, here's another photo. It's in color. And you can
so
see,
it's cherry.
but this is a 345 now.
Oh, because it's got the inlays are different.
And this is now Bobby is in the band, and this is like 64, probably early 64.
Who the heck is that one guy above Alan?
That might be their manager or something.
Yeah, I don't know that guy.
I don't remember who this is.
Okay, yeah.
So did Tony ever actually play a Maton, or?
So I haven't found any photos of him playing a Maton, and there was some article about, this is on that Canteen website that describes George Harrison's guitars. There was something about that Tony had, like, either given it to the barber guy who bought Dave. I can't remember what his name is. There's someone named Barber who, after George used the Maton, he gave it back to the shop. Someone else bought it and then had it for like 20 years or something, or he played it for 20 years and then just sort of put it in a closet or whatever. And then he died in 2000, and his wife sold it in 2002 for, what was it, like £35,000 or something, and then it resold for like $400,000 in like 2015.
It looks like it was owned by Roy Barber.
Yeah, Roy Barber, that's who it was. And so there was some quote from Eric Haydock, this guy, substantiating that, the bass player of the Hollies, which said something about their manager giving the Maton to the store or giving it to this Barber guy or something like that. And it's all sort of a mess, but there's actually like a written letter or a signed letter. I guess I should pull that up.
I'm on the Canteen. It says previously.
You want to
Barber...
stream that real quick?
The Canteen?
Yeah, just because there's a link on the page to that letter.
Yeah. 1 second. So I'll just read it out loud as well. Previously, Barber had claimed he received the Maton from Tony Hicks of the Hollies, ostensibly a gift from Harrison. Hicks has denied the story.
But if you go up a little bit, the Marks explained that he is collecting famously owned guitars for an investment. Okay, blah, blah, blah. After the sale, this is in 2002, Marks got another of the Hollies, Eric Haydock, to sign a letter stating Haydock remembers the band's road manager, Johnny McDonald, being asked to deliver the Maton to Harrison. Which, maybe if they were playing that Playhouse Theater in July of 63, like when the Beatles were there, maybe, but like, I don't know. That's pretty iffy. It's possible. Like that, like their manager was at the store or something like that, and they were like, oh, you guys are about to do this concert with the Beatles, maybe you guys go give it to him. But I don't know. Could be anything.
mention that the Maton in that video that you played us does not sound very good or in tune.
No.
Sounds horrible. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say my guess is it's not used on any of those recordings in July with the Beatles album.
But it is surprising that even after the Gent,
he got it back.
The Gent again, he kept playing the Maton, so he clearly enjoyed it enough that it wasn't just like a crappy backup. So I don't know. It's very interesting.
Yeah. On the topic of the Hollies, real quick, since we're there was a video I wanted to show you guys because I thought it was with the Maton, but it turned out to be with a Futurama, so it actually is irrelevant. But it's a cool video, so I just want to show it anyway.
We always end up back at the Hollies somehow.
Oh, I find a way.
Absolutely.
So there's this video from the Chez New Club. You guys got audio?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just random videos from 61 that I guess were on just some small film camera. And there's this video of the Dolphins, which was Ricky Shaw and the Dolphins, which was Tony Hicks's group after he was in, I can't remember what the Skifflettes or something like that in the late 50s. They had also gone to some of those like auditions, the Carol Levis auditions that the Beatles went to in the late 50s. I think they actually won one of them. Yeah. And so then that brand stops around 59. Tony and one friend who is this Ricky Shaw guy who went by a different name at the time, they started the Dolphins, and then Bernie Calvert joins the Dolphins, and then he later on goes into the Hollies when Eric leaves.
Yeah.
But this video has Tony and Bernie in the Dolphins. Right there. And Tony's like, he's like 16 in this.
Wow.
Jeez.
It's just so crazy we have this video. And it's funny because Tony is playing in this video, which you'll see in a second. He's playing a Futurama.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
That's awesome.
I don't know how common Futuramas were around that time. I guess.
Well, they were like the Swiss. You couldn't get Fender Strats in the UK during this time. So that was the next best thing.
But it's pretty cool to see this video. I don't even know how I found this. And they both have Futuramas.
Huh.
Is Graham Nash in the band at this point?
No. So this isn't even the Hollies. This is just the Dolphins. So
this is before the Hollies.
Yeah, so this a little bit later. So Alan and Graham had been going around under some various pseudonyms, sort of like how John and Paul were doing the whole what's that one weird pseudonym they did when they were in the Nurk Twins? When they were in France. Yeah, so Alan and Graham were going around doing singing stuff, and then Eric Haydock started a group, or was in a group, that I think became the Hollies, and then Alan and Graham joined that group. Then the guitarist was Vic Steele at the time. Then that guy leaves and Tony replaces him. And this is around, I think that's sometime in 62. So it's like a year after this video. And then they have Don Rathbone as the drummer up until like, what is it? It's like sometime in the summer or fall of 63 that Bobby Elliott joins. And then that's sort of like the core Hollies group. But Don Rathbone does make it onto a few of the Hollies recordings. So that's just a little Hollies history for you guys. And according to some people, it seems unsubstantiated, but some people seem to think that Tony owned this exact Maton master sound before he had the ES-345, which is possible if he had it in 62, because, or no, not 6, because he had, maybe they're thinking 335, because it sounds like, based on that photo, Tony had a 335 at some point, and that would have been around late 62 probably. So maybe at like the very beginning of Tony being in the Hollies, he had this like right after his Futurama. So it's possible, but I have not found any evidence for it. So
and
if
Tony himself denies it, right?
He denies giving it to the guy. I didn't say he denied having one, but it seems like it's implied that he denied having one.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but it is kind of interesting, and it's cool to see him with a Futurama.
It's funny that they're playing the shadows in the video.
Yeah.
Well, it
kinda
says
funny.
I found somewhere else that it said that was the thing that they would often be playing shadow stuff at the time because obviously it's 1961. I mean, this is around the same time the Beatles did the "Cry for a Shadow" recording.
Yeah.
Um,
Which was their attempt at being the Shadows.
right, and funny enough, that's George on the Futurama.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I guess everyone was using Futuramas to cover shadow stuff.
Jimmy Page did as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
There's
That
a
was his
video of
first
him
guitar.
playing that, isn't there?
Is
Playing
there?
a Futurama, I think. Yeah, I think there's a video of Jimmy Page playing one.
Real quick, as a little anecdote, just for fun, I I heard. I don't remember when I heard this, but I heard something a while ago that. Do you remember in Hard Day's Night the train scene, where Ringo pulls out the radio, and then the old guy, tells him to like turn it off, or he turns it off himself. There's some argument that that's Jimmy Page on that recording.
What?
Yeah, that it's some session recording that he came in to do just for the movie or something.
I believe it.
And it's like only 18 seconds. Like actually, well, there's a longer clip of it than what's in the movie.
Let's see if we can maybe we can email Jimmy Page's management.
Yeah.
Find out. I will do that. I will not rest until I find out. They probably laugh at us.
Yeah, here it is. So this is the audio from the train scene that Ringo plays on the radio in the Hard Day's Night. But it's the full recording. It's not just the thing from the movie.
Hmm.
It would help if I turned it up.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's killer.
it's pretty cool.
I believe it's Jimmy Page. That
So it's
sounds
him
like
on lead
him.
guitar?
It's
Clem
claimed that.
Catini, yeah, this guy says Clem Catini, Big Jim Sullivan on bass, I guess, and then Jimmy Page on guitar.
No kidding.
But
That's crazy.
I don't know what evidence there is for that. I know I've read it a handful of places. Or maybe Jim Sullivan is guitar as well. I don't know. This guy says he thinks it's Vic Flick and the John Barry 7. Don't
Vic
know.
Flick was the James Bond theme, and
Yeah.
also
okay.
the Hard Day's Night scene where Ringo's on the beach. There's
Oh,
that
okay.
This
This
Boy
Boy cover.
instrumental. He
Ringo's
did guitar
theme.
for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyways, that's just a fun little thing. Okay, where are we going next?
So before we get to the next guitar, I wanted to ask about the Duo Jet, because once George gets the Gent, he doesn't really go back to the Duo Jet. So what happened to it after May 63?
The Duo Jet?
So, yeah, do you want to
He gave it to Klaus Voormann,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, that's
And then
right.
Klaus kept it until like the
80s.
70s or the
It's
80s. Yeah.
It's like 85 or something. It said 85 or 86, and then he gives it back to George,
87, yeah.
and
was
George uses it
Cloud9.
on Cloud 9.
But did he give it right away to Klaus? Do we know that?
It said the date. I don't. This
Oh,
is
yeah.
on that. Do you want to just pull it up on the Canteen website because it says it on there?
I have that. Except my computer's.
Have you guys ever seen George's interview for Guitar Player magazine?
It references it on the,
Yeah, where
the
he-
Canteen thing.
Where he takes photos of each of his guitars and he puts them and he talks about them in the caption. And one of them's the Duo Jet, and he said that he'd given it to Klaus. I think he got it back recently, he said, in the 80s. Alan Rogan, in 85 or 86.
Oh, I love Alan Rogan.
Yeah.
This doesn't seem to mention Klaus, does it? You guys can see the Canteen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that's where I read it, but I can't. Oh no,
it's
it
somewhere
says it in the middle.
Harrison gave this instrument
Yeah.
to Hammer who changed on pickup. Doesn't say when,
It
but
says in late spring 60. Oh wait. He used it throughout Britain until late spring '63. Then, after getting the Country Gent, he gives it to Klaus. So, I don't know. Let me see if it's in the book.
Wait, Dom, that sounds really fascinating though. I've never seen that Rogan interview guitar. I've read the guitar player interview, but I've never seen video of it.
Oh no, it's the pictures that George took.
Oh, okay. I've seen that in his house. They're like almost like Polaroid.
Yeah,
yeah. Coincidentally, did you guys ever have the George Harrison guitar collection app on your phone?
I did.
I did not. I don't. You have to tell me what this is.
So
yeah, go ahead.
So Danny, in like 2012, Danny took some of George's Beatle guitars. You know, like the Duo Jet, the Rick, Lucy, the Jose Ramirez nylon string, and this was like really new technology. Like he photographed them in 360, so you could interact with his guitars. And in 1999, Danny recorded George playing these guitars, and he's playing like Beatle licks and stuff. Now, I vividly remember having that app, but I was like probably 12 years old, 13.
Yeah. It's unfortunately
I was like 6th grade. Yeah.
The app is no longer working because Danny never updated the firmware on it.
Can we start a petition?
Yeah, seriously.
Make him update it.
The good thing is I have an old iPhone with the app still on it, and I took videos of the videos of George playing. I actually have them here if you wanted to listen.
Do you have the audio clips?
I do.
Please send those to me.
Do I have them here?
Find a way to send them to me.
I do have them here, and I
think
he's one of them is the Duo Jet, isn't it?
Yeah, he plays the help lick on the Duo Jet. Yeah,
I'm going to share my screen. This is actually really cool.
He plays A Hard Day's Night on the Rick. You can't do that on the Rick. I mean, it was like...
So this is the guitar app that we're talking about. It has different pictures, and you can go 360 and all that.
Yeah.
For the Duo Jet, though. This is for Lucy.
I mean, it was like the holy grail.
Playlist.
Yeah, it was like the holy grail of.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, his Casino was on there too. Yeah.
Yeah, Casino and the Rick and Rocky and the 360 12. But here I have movies. Let me just see here. One second.
What are these?
Can you guys hear it?
No.
Let me reshare. So this was the app that we're talking about. I took videos of it because you can no longer have it on your phone. But I took videos of it.
Sure, I've got my iPhone 4 somewhere.
Gibson acoustic.
I don't know what that
you didn't
was all
play
about.
it there, but hold on. Yeah. Oh, here it is.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Wait.
Let it down. How awesome was that?
That's awesome.
Find the Rick one if you have it.
And you said these were recorded in '99?
Yeah, 99.
Wow, that's awesome.
So cool. Classical.
I'm glad to say
Rocky.
every
Oh, here's the casino.
I've never heard this before.
A little out of tune there, but
He was always traveling.
I don't think he did, unfortunately, any clips of the Rick or any of the other guitars.
No, he did.
Rocky,
He did do on the app there. He did do recordings of the Rick.
Yeah.
He did the Hard Day's Night chord.
Is it about Rickenbacker?
Oh,
Yeah.
this might be it.
Go up a few.
He did Hard Day's Night. Fish on the Sand.
I saw it in the thing, but maybe you just didn't know.
Yeah.
Here's Rocky. I might not have taken.
Psychedelic Stratocaster.
I love the way he's announcing them.
Yeah. Anyway,
awesome.
it's really cool, and I'll just show some pictures quickly
Yeah.
if I can.
So you
find
could take the, you could interact with the guitars. You could, zoom in and turn them around and stuff. I mean, it was totally like, nothing like that had ever been done before.
And it was cool because that was when all the friends of Danny came and played those guitars, like Conan and all those musicians came to play. Josh Homme.
It's funny because all of them like forgot how to play guitar. Because
Conan was like, I have to put this down.
A couple of them are on YouTube.
So this says the last time the Duojet. And yeah, stuff we all know, I guess. But anyway, it's really cool.
It's funny, I haven't heard those recordings in like 10 years.
My phone's like not even working anymore, so I'm glad I have some of those clips.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, we finished the Duojet and we finished the Matins. So now we are on to the next mystery weird
The
guitar,
USA
which is
purchased guitar.
a Rickenbacker.
The Rick
Backer,
425. Well, technically it's a 420,
Yeah.
but
What's the difference?
so
It's a Bigsby.
yeah,
Or the vibrato of some sort.
every Rickenbacker that has a vibrato ends in 5. So the 325 has a vibrato on it. The 320 does not.
And so the first number is the shape, the general shape, I guess. So the John's 325 and the 360 both have that sort of sharp curves there. The 425 has that sort of like overhang bit, sort of like the 4001 bass does as well.
Yeah.
That's I guess most commonly seen on the like Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers Damn the Torpedoes album cover.
Which was the guitar made right after George's.
Yeah. I mean, that's sort of funny, like if someone flipped a coin different or something, then George would have played that one, not the other one.
Yeah.
So did George paint it black? Was it originally red?
It was
red.
Fireglow.
Yeah.
So
Fireglow.
he was visiting his sister in Benton, Illinois, which is about a 2-hour drive south of me. And I guess he bought it at a music store there, and it was Fireglow. And he asked the owner, "Hey, can you paint this black for me?" "Why should I paint it black for you?" "Just paint it black." Okay. So he begrudgingly painted it black, and he was able to have it done before he left. So he brought it back to England
Did
with
it in
him.
like
And
a week or something.
2 days later, they appear on Thank Your Lucky Star. Not Thank Your Lucky Stars. It was Ready Steady Go.
Yeah,
Wow.
here's a picture
And George
of what
talks about it. Yeah.
it probably would have looked like red, and then
Yeah.
what it then looked like black, and his only had one pickup on it, but later on got a second pickup added to look more like that.
So that guitar was played on I Want to Hold Your Hand, along with the J-160 that he overdubbed later on. But it's got a very strange, unique sound to it, almost similar to a middle position on a Strat.
Didn't Abley House do an I Want to Hold Your Hand cover with it?
Yeah, but they didn't get the tone right on the
Okay.
425. It just wasn't
That's
right.
too bad.
Beatles to a T did it.
With
I
a
think I sent that.
425?
Yeah, I think that I've sent that video to you, Ryan,
Oh, okay.
or in the group chat there.
Yeah, do you want me
See if
to
you
try
can-
to play something?
Yeah.
Maybe I should play
Yeah.
some of that Ready Steady Go video. It's also in that one where they do Money, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember what video that is, though. This is the Ready Steady Go footage from 1963. I'll just go ahead and mute it just to be safe. But,
There's V81.
yeah. So there you can see George.
There it is. Yep. Yeah.
I think
And that was
lining-
right after he'd gotten it too.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And he wanted to paint it black because of John's Rickenbacker,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Brian thought it'd be a good image for the band.
And then this is also
Helen Shapiro.
the same appearance where they have this whole "Look Who It Is" bit with Helen Shapiro. Which let me just skip forward to the fun bit with George.
Oh, yeah.
Favorite songs.
That's a great song. It really is.
Those are right here.
I think you missed it.
Did I miss the bit I was looking for?
Yeah, it's earlier.
It's earlier. When is
I know
it?
what you're
Yeah,
talking
it's going to go.
Oh, it's right here. Yeah.
Yeah, this is it.
Classic.
She's only 15 years old here.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, in
insane.
Cynthia's book, funny, John was actually like fiercely protective of her
Mm-hmm.
on the
It said
tour.
she had a huge crush on John at the time. He was, I guess, sort of a mentor figure for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Great
it's
book,
interesting.
by the way.
I don't remember specifics about it, but I know
Yeah.
in Jude Kessler's books about John, she delves into that a little bit, which is kind of cool.
So that
So
is the 425. Actually, pull up that Beatles to a T clip.
Okay.
I
we
sent it
should
in the
play that.
Instagram chat.
This is a Beatles to a T clip that Dom was mentioning, where he uses a 425. When were these made? Like 2006 or something?
That was like, I think the first one was like 2001.
Okay.
The last one was like 08, I think.
Yeah, that's pretty close. Wow, that's pretty cool. I've never seen this.
Yeah.
Would that be equivalent to like? It's not quite the bridge pickup on the regular, like the 325.
Well, no, it's like the middle position on a Strat. It's like
Yeah.
right in the middle.
So it looks like though it has a pickup selector. Is that like a tone
Yeah.
shift kind of thing?
Think of like
An
I want
Esquire.
to say it had something to do with it going right from the pickup to the input jack or something like that, or it bypassed one of the pots,
Let me take a look if
like
I
an
can
Esquire,
find something about that.
Yeah, I'm curious what that does.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me take a look. I have a page. But I was gonna ask, when he had the second pickup added, it was in a different spot, so he had to change the location.
Yeah,
the whole
I was
pickup,
confused
yeah.
about that too.
No, it must have been. It must have been pre-October of '64 because we have that video of John playing
Yeah,
it.
so we have this other video.
Well, what blew my mind the most was that it had the two pickups by that point. I thought he had added that later on.
Yeah, so this is like significantly later. This is so he got it in. When was that
Yeah.
again? That's like
Oh, it
fall
was-
of '63.
Yeah, it was really early. It's a whole year
And so
later.
this is October 31st of '64.
He's playing the Tennessean. Do you see that?
Yeah, George is playing the Tennessean. They've got the
What the
AC-100s or whatever in the back.
Yeah, he's playing the Tenny then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that shouldn't be a surprise, right?
No, that's not the surprise. The surprise is when the camera pans over to the right, and it's
Right.
John
There
on
it
the
is.
425.
Right.
Surprise.
And this
Look
is
at
probably
that,
the only
dude.
video with that, right?
Go back.
And
So you see that little dark spot there? That's the second pickup.
6 pixels.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's two pickups, and I guess I can just show in the book.
About a nickel for every pixel in that video.
Yeah.
I'd have
So
one nickel.
probably something like this.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what's that photo on the top there, on the second page? Is that the,
That's probably that show.
is it? Yeah.
Does it say? Top
Man.
left. This snap was taken by a fan, Jackie Bevan, with a Kodak Brownie camera at a show. Yeah, Ipswich, England, on October 31st, 1964, about a year after George bought it. So
Yeah.
that's from that same concert.
So that's
I
the
wonder,
only
that must
instance-
have been like John broke a string or something. And they just still had it around.
Yeah, he probably did.
That's pretty cool.
But you think he'd bring V81 on the road?
Yeah. Well, wasn't
No?
what was it that Paul said something last time about John's 58 Rickenbacker getting like fall off the stage? Was it December of 64? I don't know
Yeah,
anything
that
about
was
that.
that was his 64, so he dropped it. And you can actually, a couple times I've seen that one in person. You could still see the headstock crack.
Okay, but that was was that in December?
Yeah, December of 64.
Okay, so that
he
wouldn't
got
have been
the Rose
why
Morris.
he had this one then.
Yeah, the 1996.
I did find some info about the pickup selectors on the 425, and it basically works just like a Fender Esquire. So
Okay.
in the bridge position down, the tone knob does not work. It's the pickup on full. In the middle, the tone knob is engaged. You can roll it off however much you want. And then in the neck, normal position, it's like a muffled, tone roll off setting that's stock, like an Esquire or a Telecaster, where it's like a jazzy, almost like the mud switch on here.
Yeah,
So
that's interesting.
interesting.
So it's, yeah, I mean it's sort of like, yeah, just sort of like saving if you want to save. It's almost like the way Jazz Masters work, where you have a separate setting if you want to have it like muted, or you can set the settings for that. And then switch back, because I think the idea was to switch back and forth between lead and rhythm playing, and it's probably the same idea.
right, because you could be on bridge setting and it's on full, then switch to middle or neck and it's a different setting. So yeah, that's kind of cool.
Okay.
Do
that
people
makes
still
sense.
do that kind of thing? Like, do they switch positions mid-song all the time?
I know
Some
Slash
people.
did in Sweet Child of Mine
Huh.
during the solo. Neck to
Hendrix
bridge.
would switch all the time.
Yeah, but I don't know about. I mean, Stevie Ray Vaughan did it too all the time. That was the 80s, 90s. I don't know if people still do it these days. I mean, I do, but I'm not a famous guitarist, so
Yes, you are, Dom.
okay.
To all the people
Elvis
watching this,
Costello.
you are.
A lot of people who use the Jaguars or Jazz Masters would like remove that setting completely or tape it
Yeah.
off
Oh,
Well,
that's
the rhythm circuit because they
it's
didn't want to
useless.
use it.
Yeah. To them, it's useless.
interesting.
So that's the 425. I don't know what happened to it after that. Was that in the George Harrison app too?
No,
No, because that's the one that
no,
got.
it wasn't.
No, actually, what did happen to that one?
Man, I have no idea.
Do we need to check the canteen? Do you want to pull that up again, Sam?
Let's.
I actually don't remember. I didn't look at it.
Here, I have it here.
Someone's yelling in the audience. Yeah, I was surprised he did go straight to the Tennessee in there.
Maybe they don't have it on the canteen. Sorry, Rainbow Spinny Wheel. So annoyed.
Well, let's see it. We'll race. We'll see if I can find it from Beatles gear quicker.
You know what? I always, besides its Beatle connection, I always wanted one of those. A 425.
It did actually say that it got stolen. Very like almost immediately after he got it, but the police saw it happen. And they got it back.
Yeah. I feel like they'd work well with like indie music.
Yeah, like Tame Impala, they use like.
Well, he's got that 330. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
It's
said
just
it was
loading.
sold at auction for $675,000.
Oh boy,
You want to buy that one?
I'd rather get a house.
Who has it?
I have the canteen here if you want to check that out.
Yeah, that's all I
Oh,
see.
they have the serial number too. 439. BH439.
$400. That's $400. That's really expensive, isn't it? For that
For
time,
1963.
that's crazy expensive.
Hold on. Let me.
Because his
inflation
like
calculator.
for
Give me a second.
context, his Futurama or no, his Duojet was like 75 pounds, and that was expensive.
$400 in what, October of 63?
Yeah,
All right, give me a minute.
here, I'm gonna try to look
October.
it up too.
$3,949.
$4,000.
Whoa.
Man, he was making some serious money. Jeez.
And that's the thing. Maybe you guys can dispel this if you know anything about it. Otherwise, we could dedicate a whole episode to this because I don't know enough about it yet. But wasn't there contract that for every single sold, Brian Epstein and the four Beatles got to split a penny 5 ways? Isn't that what it is?
I don't know.
It was something like that, I thought. Which would mean, like, if that was actually what it was, that would mean, like, the single She Loves You, they each got, like, 300 pounds out of. Which is, like, there's no way that's right.
Which was
unless they were getting all their money from concerts, which might be true. I don't know.
I want to read some of this because it is kind of interesting. It says, Harrison debuted the 425 on Ready, Steady, Go, telling and admiring Dusty Springfield, "I made it myself." A couple weeks later, it's seen again on Thank Your Lucky Stars. After that, Harrison used it for the Swedish tour late October and the British tour November and December. Interestingly, while the band's van was parked outside a Glasgow theater, some miscreant broke into the van and stole it, but it was quickly recovered. Back in London, the guitar played in a return engagement on Thank Your Lucky Stars. When he got his next Rick a few weeks later in New York, this one was retired but not forgotten because he added that's interesting, he added the other pickup after that. He was already retired.
So it is featured in a couple of the BBC recordings.
Dom, do you see that red text at the bottom? I didn't know about that.
Hold on.
It says, when Rickenbacker first introduced it in 1958, it had no vibrato.
Yeah.
In 1965, they added vibrato and designated it 420 weird. When it wasn't vibrato.
Really? So they actually did call it a 425 when he got it, maybe. That's really strange. I wonder why.
That's weird.
Because that's inconsistent with like everything else that had vibrato at the time.
Yeah, it was a 425, but
unless
technically it's
everything was just called that. Like maybe I just am not aware of what stuff was called back then. Because
that's weird. I didn't know
but the
that,
360 actually. 12 is consistent with that. So yeah, I don't know. That's weird. Maybe that's a one-off thing.
Really interesting though. In 1971, he gave this guitar to George Peckham, a mate from Liverpool, who played in Earl Royce in the Olympics, and later as a rhythm guitarist for the Foremost, who had become cutting engineer for Apple and rhythm guitarist for a new band, Matchbox. Harrison learned the band was about to appear on Top of the Pops, but Peckham had no guitar, so Harrison loaned him Rocky. When Peckham returned it, Harrison asked him if he wanted a guitar and offered him the 425, calling it a great rhythm player. Huh.
And I mean, it absolutely is.
But he kind of used it as lead on I Want to Hold Your Hand, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I just find it so funny that the type of relationship you can have with George Harrison where he gives you a guitar and you just decide to sell it 28 years later.
Oh yeah, when
George was still alive.
Yeah. He was so generous with his instruments.
Yeah, he gave the SG to Pete Ham. He gave the Rosewood Telly to Delaney.
Oh, I didn't know about that. That's what is it? Is Delaney and Bonnie their first? I don't know how many albums they did.
Yeah, so Harrison went on tour in late '69 with Delaney and Bonnie.
Yeah.
And yeah, after Abbey Road, he had given the Rosewood Telly to Delaney.
He just gave it away.
Just gave it. And Delaney like put like humbuckers and crazy stuff all over it. Like it was completely different.
Sacrilege.
Is there videos of that?
There's videos of the tour, yeah, with Harrison and Clapton, with Delaney and Bonnie,
Yeah,
and Delaney's playing the Rosewood Telly, and Harrison's going back and forth between Lucy and Rocky as his main guitarist,
that's awesome.
Which is insane.
I should watch this.
So the last guitar we have to mention, we don't have to, but I thought it would be fun, is the Tennessean, because he technically got it at the end of '63.
Right, and played it at some Christmas shows.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe we can say it as sort of a send-off, because that deserves its own episode. But yeah, worth mentioning, because soon after that, they played at the Christmas shows, and then they go to Paris in, January of '64.
London, Paris, yeah.
He probably uses it on the backing track of Can't Buy Me Love, which was recorded in Paris.
Mm-hmm.
But then that gets overdubbed with
the Gent.
Yeah, the Gent, but that song ends up just having the 360-12 later. But that original solo is like hidden in the background. On that double-tracked solo, there's a double-tracked gent, but the Tennessean is underneath.
Yep.
That all right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
So it's sort of interesting. George definitely that's sort of the interesting thing is he clearly liked to use guitars as soon as he got them, which that makes sense as a guitar player. But
He was a geek.
It does make me question a little bit the whole thing with the Maton.
Yeah.
Like, why did he keep it? And if they did sessions in July, like, I don't know, 2 weeks later, it's possible. But
Did he keep
unlikely.
it though? Do we
Maton?
know if he kept it? Yeah.
No,
It said he had it
gave
from
it back.
July 3rd to August 14th.
Right.
And
but it wasn't like a mainstay. Like the Tennessean he specifically like bought. But
Yeah.
I don't know
Right.
if the
The
Maton or
Maton
the
was just he had
Firebird.
around. So he didn't. Yeah, that's fair. It just seems he clearly chose it from the place. But maybe there wasn't much thought into it. It's like, this is a guitar that'll work. So I don't know.
That's
But-
interesting because we've been talking about all these different guitars and it's just 1 year of the Beatles right
Yeah.
before they got really big, but it's like, some guitars he really bought intentionally and the others like the Firebird or the Maton were just kind of like whatever,
Right.
just
Right.
going on tour.
Yeah, and he was not about to stop anytime soon. buying
guitars.
Oh yeah.
Like all of us, right?
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should one of these days we should do like a tier list for each of the guitars George owned or something.
Like yeah. Like, actually, that'd be a lot of. We should do that.
Yeah,
That'd be actually a lot of
good
fun. Well, the formula for however many guitars you have to have, it's however many you currently have plus 1.
one. Right. Yeah.